And allow recording now. We are going to spend some time to understand what has changed and what are the market dynamics now because of a COVID and how people are reacting to it. I try to capture some of the facts which are gathered from multiple different sources. Some of them are from Gartner, Forrester, and some of them are from a local India market perspective facts also. Well, as it's been mentioned on the session's registration page, today's session is not a hands-on demo slash a technical session, but we are okay and open to answer technical queries if you have for the product. Me and Niklesh will try to answer it, but if we are not able to answer it, we will recommend that if you post your question in the chat box, we will come back to you and reply you with the responses and the solutions around it. Though you are open to go ahead and refer our forum, forum.uipath.com, which is the most easiest way to get an answer for any of your question. Forum.uipath.com help as on the trends are between 5 to 7 minutes, you get your query responded. It can't be much faster than anything else. Even if you pick up a phone and call up any contact center, you may not get connected to a representative in 5 minutes, but on a forum.uipath.com, you can expect that your response are there within the 5 to 7 minutes because it's all about community and it's all about developers, partners, customers, network friends who spend time on the website and they try to help each other. So in case you have queries which you don't know to whom to contact for it, the best place is to go for forum.uipath.com. And let's kick off today's discussion. Hope you can see my screen. Anyone can confirm?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for both. Well, agenda for today is on the screen, which is what has technology impact and what has happened with the technology. And this is in general, not specific to automation slash RPA, but I'm talking about what we have seen. If we talk to our parents and if any one of our family friends worked with the bank, they must have seen that it was an era when people was not using computer and now everybody use computer. And that point of time, people used to think about it. If the computer comes to the bank, if your computer comes to the office, we may lose our job. But that not actually happened. What happened is people started loving computers and start working on computers. So this is one example where technology has gone ahead and made a paradigm shift to our thinking. The other paradigm shift, what has happened, what you see when you look at Amazon, Uber, or Netflix. Well, the business for Uber is nothing new. The taxi service was available for a good long time, but they made this disruption and make this technology available in your hand so that you can go ahead and consume it as fast as you can think of it. So these are some of our examples which we all are familiar with, and that's we are going to do a little bit deep dive on the technology perspective. The second piece we are going to cover today is it's time to automate. We have to think about it, how we are going to do the same work in a new way. And if we are not doing a rework, if you're not thinking about the rework, we are probably going to lag behind and we will not be the leaders in any conditions. Well, I was reading in Harvard research about this pandemic, and they have gone ahead and made some research on a 2001 and 2009 impact also. What they found is there are three types of organizations. One, who go ahead and start reserving, and they only go ahead and support promotions to keep themselves alive, keep themselves in the market. The second type of organization was there who tried to put a balanced approach. They gone ahead and reach out to their customer with discounts, with offers, but they also balance the services which they are going to give to the customer. And the third type of customers who actually not gone ahead and made any change in their business. Well, if you look at those companies don't exist as on today. So what you have to find is which organization you are working and what is the option you are opting for to handle the situation and how you want to go ahead and take it to your journey to the next level. So that's exactly it's a right time to automate, and we are going to talk about some facts in the point number 3, what do you get once you are doing an automation in your organizations? With the 4th point, how do you automate everything that can be automated? Well, we all know about it. It's very common slack that RP can do everything, but we all know it practically. That's not the right mindset. You may have a process which can be automated, but partially. Maybe you will be able to do it 90%, 95%, or you may be able to do 100%. But a blanket approach to think about it, everything can be automated, it's a wrong perception. You have to be very practical around it, that automations with the RPA are available, possible, but there are areas where it's not 100%. So you always have to find the right low hanging fruits. You always have to find the balance. And then also you have to think about is whether this automation really makes sense from an ROI perspective. And then we will be talking about the journey. Well, before we move to the next slide, I just want to open up a chat bot and ask you that if you can go ahead and answer, how many products are there as on today with UiPath? Can you put some number? Is it 3, 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever you think about it? We'll wait for a minute, which is for me is a breathing space, but for you guys, if you answer, this will be great. What's the number?
And don't go to any website to check this.
Well, that's your choice, but in a minute, if you get that answer as well, that will be great. I don't believe that answer is available on any website. Anybody can unmute also and just give us the number if they are confident on their number. Okay, 20 plus. A very close answer. A very close answer, Vipin. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm not sure that
23,
exact, but
24,
I know it's
25.
more than 20.
Nikhilesh, 23. Okay. Let's wait at the end of the session and you will get your answer. But yes, it's more than 20 for sure. I have one slide which gives you the total number of the products we have available. But if you guys are working with UiPath for the last 2 years, anybody who has worked with UiPath in 2016 or 2017, they know what was the number there and what was the number in 2019 and what was the number in the beginning of a 2020. Well, in the beginning of a 2020, we was not having 20 products, but we do have now 20 plus products. And I'm not going to the number of solutions we have because that's not, that's infinite. I can't count the solution numbers which we have. Okay, we are good to move further and move to the next slide. There we go. Well, we all know about it. When we are getting a job or applying for a job and moving for a new job, the first thing which used to happen is a handshake. And that's exactly the thing which is right now we are missing. Everything is happening on a screen. The new application we are applying online, we getting interviews done online, our background checks, verifications are happening online, we're receiving offer letters online, doing a DocuSign or Adobe Sign or whatnot, but we are accepting the offer letters over emails. We receive a communication from the HR, hey, your joining date is so and so, and we join on that specific date without meeting any person. Well, you can see on the screen in the center that everything is happening online. There is nothing where we have a human touch. And that's exactly the point which brings, when we do not have that kind of a connect, the human connect, these are the things which people have now accepted. Yes, this can be automated and it can work in tandem with the human. That means at one side, human is doing some activity at one point of a time, he hand over it to bots and then bots perform the second job, complete some actions, and then pass it on back to human. And that's where I want to give you a perspective of that is this also have a blend of a 50% plus applications which enterprise are using are in some form and shape connected to the cloud. So very common ones are like we all use Microsoft Office product, we all use Google services, and in Office product, I'm also including O365s and Azure and Microsoft Dynamics and all these products. And when we talk about Google, then we are all leveraging Google services, advanced Google services, just as GCP, Google Cloud Platform, and other. And then there are so many other SaaS products also available. You all aware about S4 HANA from SAP. You all aware about SFDC, which has a CRM. Well, these all products are on cloud. They are hosted on a cloud running from somewhere else. And the trends are every organization has now blend of cloud-based product adopted. So some products are running on-prem and some products are running cloud. And that's where the complexities comes in. Like you will always have the complexity to manage all these. And that's where you have to think about is, well, do I manage it as a human or do I assign these tasks to bot so that bot can pick it up these jobs and do it for me? So this is all about a perspective. We are not going to do any solutioning today, but if we have time and if we have questions around it, I would love to answer. Niklesh would love to answer here on this session. Let's think about it, how the rework is working on. Do you guys agree at this point of time, every organization you guys are representing, they already started thinking about the new way of working, which is a rework, the new approach to do that. If you feel that's happening in your organization, well, you can simply say yes or no, but I'm sure you will agree to the statement that every people on the planet is right now got impacted and they have started thinking little bit different, may not be 100% like likewise others, but they have started thinking little different way. If I used to do this activity in the past like this, how about doing it in a different way? Well, I was talking to one of my friend and I got very much impressed by the way how teachers has adopted. Those are the people who used to go to school and do things from there. Now they are all online and they was not having that experience and they have adopted completely using Zoom or Microsoft Team or a Google Meet or some other services, but they all are now aware about how to do a screen sharing, how to go about and mute, unmute all these things. They never thought of it, and now they know how to do it. Well, maybe it's a little change for someone, but this change has made an impact. And that's where I believe rework is a perspective which you should all think about it, which we should all adopt to get better inclined or make ourselves more comfortable to handle the situation next and how to work about it. Okay, let's move to a very interesting facts, which are something definitely going to correlate what you are doing in your day-to-day job. And that's where I bring the first fact on the screen, why people are adopting RPA. If you guys disagree with some numbers, with a marginal or very heavy distance, then please raise your voice. But this is a research which is being done in India by a company called Economics. They do publish their media, which is a print media and online. They made this research and they came across with some of the facts which are really, really interesting. And if you see, most of the organizations are focusing on what they want to achieve with the RPA is they actually want to go with productivity, increase productivity. The second fact is they want to reduce human error. The third fact is they bring consistency. They don't want two people in the organization doing the same job with a two different approach. They want to bring consistency. So it can be apple to apple comparison for every job which we are doing in the organization. The fourth one is improving or enhancing the customer experience. Who would love to be on a call center call, which is if you are making a phone call to the bank and be online for 2 minutes, the next representative will pick up your phone. So this is experience, and that's exactly what people now understand, that we have to reduce that time and we want to make things over the fly happening so that people don't have to wait. And even if they have to wait, they should be engaged so they can do some of the other activity. And you may have experienced this, but this makes a lot of difference when you are handling your customer. And I just given one example of a call center representative or telephonic support representative, but this is relevant everywhere. If you send an email to any support team, let's say you buy a new hardware, a laptop, and you write an email for support, and by default there's an automated email come, hey, your ticket will be answered in next 24 hours. You really don't want to wait for the next 24 hours. You want somebody should respond to you ASAP, as soon as possible. So this is the experience, and that's where we see that a lot of people are concerned and they are putting efforts adopting RPA. Well, the next piece is increase revenue, increase the top line. Well, though RPA gets started from bottom-up approach in the organizations, but now people have matured and they started thinking about, is it really going to impact and increase revenue for me? And that's exactly the thinking which you should also right now focus on, because that's the compelling story. People don't want to go ahead and take people's job, and they don't want people to move out of the organization. What they want is the same employee, same representative should do more with what they have. So as the first point, which is increased productivity, is very clearly articulated in this research, that focus of the people are, they don't want to make people go and leave the organization. What they want is people should be more productive. They should be able to do more of the things which is relevant for the business and help them generate more revenue. Well, if you disagree with this fact, please raise your hand or raise your voice. I will appreciate if there are counter questions, because some of the facts which we all believe may look okay, but if you have any other perspective, feel free to share. Okay, let's move next. What percent of people think automation make really a competitive difference to their business? And that is 62% think automation will make them more competitive. Well, here I would like to give a very local example of a product company which we all are familiar. I'm sure people are familiar with the product called Parachute. Say yes on the chat if you are familiar, and say no if you are not familiar, please. Let's wait for a few seconds. I would like to see on the chat if you know about this product, Parachute oil, the hair oil. No, yes, no. Okay, yes. Okay. Couple of guys who are not familiar, let me answer quickly. There's a company called India-based company, Marico, and they have a product which is called as a Parachute hair oil, which is a coconut oil, and it has the highest market share at this point of a time in India, and they do work in other geography also. Way back, this product used to come in aluminum tin, and today you don't see that aluminum tin, and it's now coming up in the PET bottle, plastic bottle. Well, there's a history behind it. They used to sell it in that way, and that's the same way we used to consume it. And they got disrupted by thinking about how do we increase our sale, because the shelf life was highly dependent on heavy packaging, shifting, logistic, and then keeping this product available in the shelf. Well, the company thought about it, and they actually thought about it, why can't we replace aluminum with some other alternative? They tried with something, but they failed. But what they failed after that, they did a research and they realized what is the reason why this change is not getting accepted in the market. What they found is if they make a packaging change from this aluminum / the tin packaging to any other alternative, wherever their logistics are happening, the wholesale, retail, or supply chain whole cycle, wherever they are keeping these boxes, rat are actually going ahead and destroying the product. They bite, and then the product get leaked, and it's for no use. And that's also the reason they gone back to the design team and given them the feedback that we need a product a packaging which can't be easily in a form or in a shape, it's bite between the rat teeth. And that's where the new bottle of Marico parachute oil came in the market with a very sleek design, a tough round side of it so the rat can't bite it. And when they run it in some of the market, they realize the feedback was absolutely great, that people are accepting it. The same product, but the change of a packaging made the impact getting adopted and shipped to the larger audience, larger places. Well, there were some of the drawbacks and the references why people was allowing using the same tin boxes, though it was hurting in the hands and the fingers, but there was no alternative. Though the market was growing, they was increasing their business, they was consuming it, but they realized the competitive advantage will be if we make a difference in the packaging, and this packaging address the one of a very specific requirement, and if they can take care of that, they can go and compete with any other brand and increase their market share. Well, that's the fact, and that's, I don't want to debate, put more point on this, but I want to give you this perspective. Sometimes the same product, if we can think about the way to do things differently, makes the job happen. And that's where your advantage comes in the picture. And this actually not just changed only the market for one parachute oil, but it changed the perspective for all the other products which you see now coming in a different PET bottles. And if you see all these PET bottles, which has a liquid product, they are built in a form and shape so that rat can't bite it. Any product you look into it, I'm sure this is a new way of a thinking you might have got it today. If you guys are familiar with the story, well, I appreciate you know about it. If you're not, I would love to get into more detail of the story. I got fantasized when I heard the story and really found that oh, how people actually thought through on this topic and how they found that a competitive advantage, what will be it for me from this product. Okay, moving to the next. Well, let's come back to our RPA journey, the journey which we all are aware about. Which are the domains, vertical segments where RPA is getting adopted highest? Well, we all know about it. Finance is leading, but which are the domains which are less consumed? Which are the domain, sorry, which are the domain who are not adopting RPA, very limited in that segment? And these are sales, R&D, and legal, where you can see that on the screen. Customer service, finance, they are rocking. IT is again picking it up, but the domains which are such as legal, sales, marketing, they are very limited at this point of time. It doesn't mean that there's no scope for a RPA, but exactly the story which I've spoken about, people have to think about it and thought through on that. How do we want to change the life? How do we want to make that limitation into an advantage to do things more better? Any questions here till now? Are we good? Okay. That's my last slide on the facts. And then we will move to the next piece of the conversation, which is in our context to the topic. But this all give you a perspective, what has changed from here to the next level. And this is a top-down view. What percentage of a CEO is responsible for a RPA? Everyone who is on the call, they all are aware what happens in their organization and what percentage is the CEO involved / he is directly looking into the benefits / adoptions. Well, this fact is really a surprising fact, but it gives that only 22% of CEOs are owning automation in their organizations. 17% CIO, 28% CTO, CFO 2.8%, Chief Digital Officer 3.6%, IT department 11%. Well, that gives me a thought through on this, that why these numbers are not looking. We all think about it. It's purely automation means dollar saving, a revenue saving for the organization. and why CFOs? Well, though we adopted finance is the highest, but still, if it's led from finance, it will be very much restricted to their domain. And the moment it gets led by IT slash technology slash product and services, the adoption rate is higher. And that's where you see that CTOs, CIOs, and IT departments, they whole own more than 50% of RPA adoption journey. That means if you are working with any organization, you should always involve IT from the day one when you are picking up RPA project. They will be partner with you. They will jointly go along with you to go ahead and make this successful. If you are working in silo in that department only, probabilities are yes that you will get that automation done, but would you be able to scale? Would you be able to influence to the larger audience? Would you be able to make an impact a company wide? Well, that is a tough question to think of it. It will be limited to your domain department slash your team, but it will not be a company wide projects. Okay, I want to move further, but before that, I would like to take a pause. And if we have any questions, we would like to answer, me and Nikhilesh. Are these facts looking realistic to your day-to-day life? Do you correlate these? Maybe if you don't want to unmute and say it, just simply go ahead and put it on the chat. Yes, no, maybe you agree, you disagree. Okay. I'm not sure if somebody has responded, but I don't see anything.
And no one has responded. Guys, we love interactive sessions. So in case you want to debate or you have any question, unmute and ask.
Thanks, Mehul, Vipin, sorry. 6E801A40, thank you. Sateshwaran, agree. Well, that gives me a positive vibes that you are really able to correlate what I'm actually talking about and presenting. But these facts are real, and that's the reason I want you to keep it with you when you end of the session. Take a copy of it, go back to your team and go back to your business and check for these facts. These facts will actually go ahead and make your pitch strong. They will help you build that confidence when you will go and talk to the IT and say that, hey, the worldwide or slash India, this is the rate of adoption slash this is the percentage CTOs are involving, CIOs are involving, CFOs are involving. This will make a lot of impact. Well, Raman, to answer, sorry, no, Mathan, to answer business head at 5% is surprise, because if you see that they are not directly on that side of it. If you take out CIO, CTO, the remaining business units are the one which they are referring in the C-suite. The divisions which we are already covered on the screen, remaining of them are covered under the 5%. So that's the reason it's very low. But if you see only between the CFO, CMO, CDO, and COO, non-IT CXO roles, you will see this is average in the same. And that's the reason it's always being in the rank of it. So maybe in an organization, one of a manufacturing unit, maybe in one of a unit, yeah, they do give budgets, but they are not the one who are building it. They are sponsoring it. The ownerships is with somebody else. And if they're only giving a budget and building it within their team, then they're working in silo within their domain slash their teams. Okay. Let's move to the topic which we started with, rise of hyperautomation. And I would like to give you a perspective what the hyperautomation mean is. Is it a product? Is it a technology? Is it a concept? What it is? Well, Gartner made a research beginning of this year, and they started talking about it in 2019. And Okay, Raman, I will look at your response a little late. I'm just running to the next slide on the thought, but I will come back on this point. So when we actually started talking about it is in 2019 when Gartner came to us, gave to market and spoke about hyper automation. And hyper automation is not a product. Hyper automation is not a concept. Hyper automation is a pool of product and technology to give you an overall journey from the stage one to your last stage. And that's what is called as a hyper automation. It's a blend of a RPA, it's a blend of machine learning and AI, it's a blend of process management, it's a blend of analytics, it's a blend of discovery. So it's a journey. And on the next slide, you will see now the, the, the hyper automation offering slash the state, what it call as, sorry, give me a few seconds, please. Okay, I'm back. So when we say hyper automation, as I said, it's just not all about one product or one technology. It's a life cycle. And when I'm talking about a life cycle, it starts from discovery. Do you know the process which you want to automate? Think first. Do you know this process? It may be a process to automate, or it may be a process which can be solved by other technology. Maybe you refine your process and you get better result. You may find a loophole which can be automated or which can be solved with some other job such as a ETL. You may write some other codes or some other way. But that's the first start point is how well you know the process. And that's the phase which is called as a discovery. Once you know the process, you have to do that analyze of that process. What are the percentage? Where are the bottlenecks? What need to be improved? What can't be improved? And then you need to design that solution. And once you design that solution, this is the one which is going to run. And that's the journey of your automation, which is running in production. Once you are running it, you also need to go ahead and measure what problem you have solved, what is the result, where are the values, what are the improvements, where you have made an impact, and what type of impact, whether it's employee productivity, whether it's enhancing slash improving customer satisfaction, whether it's more of a compliance and a risk, whether it's impacting on your top line, helping you to do more or sell more or support more or service more, and then reassess. Is there scope of improvement? Should we do some more changes and take it to the next level from scale 1 to scale 2 and make it more realistic and make it more automated? Maybe a process which we have picked up, which has A to Z, 26 steps. And as on today, you may have automated only step number 4, step number 5, and step number 9, step number 10. But that's not a whole process automated. You found the bottleneck, you solved those problems. But it can be, I reassess and think of now picking up point 1, 2, 3 to be automated. And then again, you need to do a discovery, you need to do again analyzation, design, run, measure, and then again reassess. So this is kind of like a flying wheel. You have to keep run this wheel, and that's the only way you are going to improve in your journey. And this also given some of the fact from the research R, which is on the right hand side, which talks about it, what percentage is going to be get adopted a hyper automation form in organization in industry by 2024. And what they are saying is this will impact approx 30% of a cost reduction if this whole process is getting adopted. So you have to think of it that it's not just only that you start with one process and you're done. You have to keep doing it, keep performing it, keep finding more processes and keep resolving those problem statements, and then build product on top of it, which is automated product, and then give it to the business, run it, reassess, and then keep running this flying wheel. How it's correlate with the UI path? Well, we help you discover, we help you build, we help you manage, we help you run, engage, and then we also help you to show the ROI. So we actually gone ahead and worked on the complete hyperautomation.
Udit, your slide is not clear. It's blurred.
Is it for all? Because I think so. From my end, there is nothing changed.
Yeah, it's
Probably you can
blurred.
stop
Yeah, it's
sharing and
blurred.
then you can stop sharing and again start share.
Okay, let me do that. Okay, I'm just sharing it again. Thanks for the feedback. Vibhor, how's it? Is it
Yeah,
to go?
perfect. Yep.
It's good now.
Great, excellent. Do you want me to repeat the previous slide or just show it again?
I think you were
Okay,
on this slide only.
Yeah.
for a few seconds, I'm just keeping the slide up, the previous slide, and then I'm coming to the new slide. Here we go.
This
Okay,
slide was clear, yeah.
thank you. Well, the most important slide got blur.
Yeah, that is why.
Right point, Vibhor, you just picked up. Okay, thanks, Vibhor. So here you see that the flying wheel, which I was talking about on the previous slide, and those are the people who are working with UiPath for a good long time. They are aware what all product comes under discovery and when they got launched and how they are working. I will be emphasizing on the product in my next slide, but I want you to focus on the right-hand side. Apart from products, what all you get with UiPath, which is a compelling reason for you to compare any decision you want to make to select a technology to work with the technology. You have a portal which is called as academy.uipath.com. You have something which is called as the customer success managers, which is available from UiPath. You have standard support, you have premium support, you have supports which are premium plus supports. You have professional services available from UiPath. And these professional services I'm talking about, UiPath employ jump along with you to build the RPA products along with you, discover the path, help you in the ROI, and make sure that you are successful. And these are UiPath employees who work along with you. On top of it, we have more than 600 plus implementation partners. And these partners slash tech alliance are the technology which work with RPA. And these tech alliance I'm talking about, such as in the beginning of a conversation, Niklesh talked about Zendesk, ServiceNow, Salesforce, SAP, Microsoft Azure, Oracle. So these are like 600 plus technology which we have partnership with, and these are different domain. You refer the domain, we have a partnership in that domain. That's kind of a portfolio we have. You say, oh, do we have a partnership in AI ML? You have a partnership with the data science partners. Do you have a partnership with the OCR, ICRs? Do you have a partnership with the EPM, BPM solutions? Do you have a partnership with the chatbot solutions available in the market? Do you have partnership with the NLP solution in the market? Well, that's exactly what I'm talking here about, that we have a tech alliance with more than 600 plus partners slash technologies which work with UiPath. So it becomes a very limited choice in case if you find a technology which is not compatible with UiPath or there is no solution available. And hence I was saying building a solution with UiPath is infinite. Maybe the products are limited, but solution building is unlimited. It may be possible that you may find a product or a solution which is good to go. Okay, but that's where we are. And the last piece on the slide is 100 of pre-built integrations which are available on our marketplace. And you go to UiPath Go, you will find the ready built products available from UiPath, from our partner ecosystem. Couple of developers who are on the call, they have built it and published it on a marketplace and made it available for others to consume it. So that's where you see that just not only the products, product plus what all I have to be successful and to make sure that this is going to help in industry when I'm going to make a bot from automation with UiPath. Okay, now jumping too fast, I am moving to a slide which is my last slide, and this is the answer to the first question I asked for it. How many products as on today we have with UiPath? Did anybody made a right answer? I wish if someone has given the right answer, they should be awarded. But here is the virtual award. Thank you if you know the right answer. But putting a point here is last year, we was having only three product: Studio, Orchestrator, and the bots. In the bots, we was having two types of bot: attended bots and unattended bots. But now if you see the complete portfolio, this is the whole. This talks about in path the hyper automation we spoke about. Do you have something where I can capture the ideas which is with my employee and they can give me that idea and then I can build on top of it? And that's where you use Automation Hub. Can I capture something which I'm doing day to day on my screen? I don't know how to do it, but can you capture that information and then build a bot for me? Oh, I have a product which is called as a process mining. I work on all the day on SAP and doing a job which has 20 different steps. But I also know that these 20 steps are performed by thousands of people in my organization. Can you do some analytics and let me know where are the bottlenecks, where are the areas which are potential for automations? I don't know all of these thousand people are doing the job the same way I'm doing it. If they are doing it, that's great. If they're not doing, it might be a risk for my business. I may be threat to open to a compliance. And that's where we can look at the logs, we can abstract information from the logs, define some KPI jointly, and then help you understand that, hey, these are your processes. Based on the KPI you have defined, this looks like, this is the chart, how people are doing the job day to day. And the last product, which is in the discovery, is a task mining. Well, a AI built product, which is in preview, but going to help you a lot with your design and diagram editing. Okay, the second piece is build, where you already familiar with the product called Studio. Studio is a core product for a RPA developer. Well, that's a full-blown product for the development, similar like a Visual Studio. But there's a lighter version available for a studio, which is called as a Studio X. And that's being come in the category of a low code, no code. And if a user, a business user who has no technology background, but he want to build a bot for himself, which is for automating a special task. Let's say he want to play around between two Excel files. He want to abstract the information from one website and then put it into Excel. He has an Excel file and he want to update that information into a web application. These are small tasks which he want to do it, and that's what he can try and build at his own. Well, there is a governance and a best recommended best practices which he should follow, but he can build and empower himself. Plus, he can also empower employee within his group, within his community. So if I am a developer, if I am a user of a Studio X, and we call it as a Studio X slash citizen developer. So I'm in a sales, I build a bot for myself, which is for daily sales report download. But I know that in my organization, similar like me, there are 30 more people. Can I build it and then ship it to everyone so that everybody can download their report effectively, much faster, instead of going to the application, logging it, downloading it, customizing it? But if this can be done and this can save them 5 minutes, well, for 30 people, 5 minutes a day saving, it makes a lot of sense. And then you have a next product, which is called as a Studio Pro. Well, Studio Pro is an advanced product. It subset of, it covers Studio, Studio X, and it also have a capability of a test automation. And then you see a product which is called as a Document Understanding. Document Understanding is a product which has a blend of machine learning, which is called as a model. And then you have something called as a, what do we call? No, not rules, sorry. So you have a models, which is a machine learning models, and then you also have rules. If you can define those rules, you can use them to abstract information from a different type of document. If you are working with the bank and you work with the mortgages, you can do that because mortgages is all about forms. If you are working with the bank and you are in the team, which is a branch, maybe a new account opening, account closure, issue a checkbooks, we all know about it. There are a lot of forms which we fill. That's where. If you are with the healthcare, every medical representative is going through with the form filling of application, capturing the information, and then going through with it. If you're working with any other department, think over it. But there are forms, there are people you are filling it up, and you have documents which you are submitting. All this comes into the bucket of a document understanding, where you can go ahead and abstract information from these forms, whether it's a structured, unstructured, semi-structured, or handwritten. Okay, then the next piece come as a manage. Well, before manage, I want to cover the piece which is run, and then I will come to manage. Run. Under the run bucket, you see the products such as mentioned as attended robots, which run on your desktop, your virtual machine. You are the owner, custodian. When, what time you want to run it, you decide and you run it. And then the product comes as a call as an unattended robot, which run from the server. You plan the job, what time I want to run this job, and then it gets job done. The other way to do it in an unattended bot is you create actions, and that means you create events. If I receive an email from so and so person, which has this subject and also has attachment, that moment I want to trigger this bot. So you have an attended bot where you decide when I want to run the job, and with the unattended bot, either you schedule it or you define the trigger slash events slash actions. What makes unattended bot to run and do the job for me? The piece which is mentioned below unattended bot, which is native integrations, these are the one which we are actually talking about. Adobe Sign, DocuSign, Ultrix. If you are in a bank, you may be knowing about it because there are a lot of usage of Ultrix in the bank vertical. If you are with the sales and marketing, you must be knowing about Marketo, Oracle eSuite, which is a very common known, SAP SuccessFactors, Smart Sheets. So there are native integrations available, which means we don't have a product, but what we have is we have activity packs for them, which are very deep in that, which are aware about that how SuccessFactor works if you click on file and then you click on the next action. So if I know about it, how it works, and there's a ready-made activity available for you, you will be able to build those automation much faster rather than you design and develop code for that. Okay, now coming on the piece which is manage. Under the manage bucket, the first option which is mentioned as automation cloud, it's a UiPath SaaS offering where we run the orchestrator on the cloud for you. And it's managed by UiPath. The SLAs are by UiPath. So we give you 99.95% of a SLA. These SLA means that UiPath take a responsibility that the orchestrator will be up and running 24/7 for you. And you will consume it as a service, such as a website, and you will simply go ahead, connect your studio and the bots, and run it from your on-prem infrastructure or your own cloud service and get the job done. But you are not hosting the orchestrator on your own infrastructure. The second option in the manage bucket is orchestrator, which you can either deploy it IaaS, infrastructure as a service, or platform as a service, either on your on-prem infrastructure, or on a Google Cloud, or on an AWS, or on Azure. Others options are also available, but I'm just talking about the top 3, 4, which are very known in the market. You have test manager, and then you also have something which is test manager perspective is, which help you run your automated test jobs. You want to do a kind of like a thousand of a sprint, thousand of a test. There are ready-made test manager packages. You can run those jobs and test your build. Well, there's something which I want to talk and specifically mention about it. Maybe you are aware, but it's my job to make you sure that you know about this product. It's just not only for RPA. With UiPath, you can do testing for any software application you are doing, whether it's a mobile application, whether it's a website, whether it's a thick client integrations you have worked on it, and RPA. So any development you are doing, non-RPA, can it be tested with UiPath? Yes, you can do it with UiPath. And the last piece is the AI fabric. Well, AI fabric is like a platform where we definitely going to provide you some ready-made machine learning packages, but also we allow our customers, partners to build their own custom models and bring it to the platform and run it. So if you have a team of a data science who are running those jobs, but you want that data science jobs to be run by every employee in the company, bring those machine learning package to the AI fabric, build a bot on top of it, and give the permission to end user to run those bots. At the front, they will run the bot, but they will also run those data science machine learnings, which is built by your team, by your partner. So if you have written a code which is in Python or in R, or you are using some other technologies, well, you can bring those codes to machine learning AI fabric platform of UiPath and then run it with the bots. What it gives you a benefit it is, um, let's say I give you an example here. Maybe this is required to be more precisely explained or answered. But think about that if you have 4 or 5 different data sets available and you want to do some analytics on top of it, you may have to go ahead and take this all 4 or 5 data sets, which is in high in volume, assuming to a data lake, massage this data, make some master templates, do some definitions, and then make the code visually consumable for end user so that this data gives me definition, a meaning, what this data is giving me impression about, maybe a prediction, maybe a prescriptive, respective. They give me the response, and that's what I want people to consume. So you may go ahead, massage this data somewhere else and bring it back to the bots. But what we are saying is you can use these platforms, which is under the AI fabric, bring those code from there to here and run it with the bots. Okay, then I move to the next piece, which is engage. Well, this is very interesting, and it's a very widely accepted part that if you are running bots, you do have some percentage or a few points or a few actions which require human or employee slash us, all of us, to take some decision. And that's the brain work. And that's our education, which has helped us to learn, which is not a repetitive task, but this is a decision time. And I need somebody to help me with that. And that's the reason we call it as an assistant. So it's a job which is there. So I may have performed step 1 to step 7. Step 8 is where I want human to look into it, take a decision, give me the answer, and then I pick up the job again from the step number 9, 10, 11, 12 till the end. So that's where you require assistant. And under assistance, you get a lot of things. Um, which is I think so. I'm not too much on that, but that's what a definition perspective I can answer on it. You have something which is called as the next bucket is action center. Action center is something like which is going to be there on the bottom right hand side of your screen, and you click on this icon and you see your processes which you can go ahead, click run, and it will may open engine for you where you can take a decision what you want to do with this. It may open some forms for you. You can fill up those forms and fill up the information which you want to go for it. It's like a business user portal. It's not a technical portal for you, but it's where human can give inputs or get information what he wants to get it for. For example, let's say I abstracted some information from a document, and after abstracting, I found that this document mentions something as country India. though I am very confident that it's mentioned as a country India, but this is the first time I'm reading the country India in this document. All the previous document which I processed, it never mentioned India as a country. I have a doubt and I can pass it on to human through an action center on an orchestrator, and users will get assigned / you can assign it and define what I want to do with this. Should I verify this document? I give a glance of this document and then answer it. Oh yes, it's mentioned as a country India, though bot has found correctly, but it's good that I'm validating that information so that it get captured and then it gets recorded. Well, the next bucket is chatbots. We do have some of the integrations with our partners, and one of the partners is Druid. We built a bot framework with UiPath, and that means it can be integrated with Microsoft Teams, Skype, your Slack, and the other channel which you may be consuming within your organization. It can work with your Facebook chat, it can work with your website chat, and you can integrate that with your business application. And now if you see, everyone is using chatbots as on today. We are in the world that every day, at least once, we are responding to a chat in some form and shape. So chatbots are now become very crucial and critical component that every organizations are either adopting it first for an internal, but they are exploring and they are also extending these to the external world also. Well, then after the new service comes as a data service, as it's marked new, it's going to be get released in next few days for your business product as a complete suite. We release the preview, and 2020.10 is making it production ready, available to the end customers, partners to consume it, which is under the bucket of a data service, which handles the different type of a data you handle within your organization. And you want to massage these data over the fly, create some shuffle, create some master templates. That's where you will be able to go ahead and use data services. The last piece which is mentioned here is apps. Okay, this is new from the name perspective. This is revised from a lot of new feature capability perspective, but in some form and shape, you guys have seen this product in the past. It gives you build a HTML / other forms templates which can be consumed real time over the fly, and it can trigger multiple bots at the same point of time. For example, if you call a bank and say that, hey, I want to inquire about something, and let's say you are inquiring about fixed deposit rate. Well, the first thing I want to check it is, do you have an account with me? The second thing I want to check is, are you the authorized person who's calling me? The third thing I want to also check about is, what is your status with bank? Are you an active customer, inactive customer? You have loans, you don't have loans with us. And all these four information I want to capture, it may be common, very possible that these all informations are lying on a different portal. And when you call up the agent, he has to log in one by one on all these four different tools and abstract the information. But what if in the form, the agent fill up one of the information which is unique and available in all the four portals, and the bot get triggered and which fetch information from all these four different applications and show it on your screen as a one single view. And that view will have on the top right hand side your bank account detail, your active inactive status, your loan / other marketing promotions campaigns you qualified for, your feedback / last interaction with any agent, or any grievances you have raised in the past or something like that. So you have one screen where you have all the information, but what you have done it is you have just passed one unique information here in the apps in the form, and from here it's going ahead running the multiple transactions with the different bots, abstracting information and giving it to you on one single screen. So this becomes a kind of a ease. This becomes a better customer experience you can give it. You don't have to hear it out. Hey, I'm pulling your records. Please stay on the line. And then I have to listen for a music for at least one plus minute. And you may have to listen that again also, but by the time the agent will come back, he will have all the information for you rather than just only one. And that comes under the apps. The last piece we spoke about in a hyper automation is if you can't measure how your bots are doing and how much health of these bots are helping you running the jobs and be more agile on this side of it, if you can't measure it, if you can't identify the results and give it back to the business, hey, the previous job used to happen by a 30-minute time. Now we are able to do it in a 5 minutes. This is just an example. So if you can't go ahead and capture that information and give it back to the business, well, that will not solve the problem. You have to help them with the ROI. You have to help them with the assessments of the KPIs, what they want to see. And if you can print that picture that, hey, this is the health of the business, we used to do it this way, which you are aware of it. But by the way, when we are running through the bot, here is the health of a bot. How many times it successfully completed the job, how many times it got failed, how many times it got exceptions, how many times it's get assigned to an action center user. And also on top of it, if I'm saving 10 minutes for you from any of the job, what is the dollar meaning? If the dollar meaning is 1, that means I have saved $10 for you per minute. So then you can go back to the business and say that by running these 3 processes, we help the organization to save this number of hours, which is actually multiplied by $1 per hour or per minute. And here is the equal amount. And that's the ROI. Well, with this, I would like to invite, because this was a very heavy slide, but this require a brief introduction of every product, and that's what I try to do it. Hopefully, I justified answering each product and helping you understand what these products are meant for. Well, the house is open for a question, and we are good to pass it on to Nikhilesh after the question. Feel free to ask.
Hello.
Please go ahead, Salesh.
Yeah. Yeah. So regarding Action Center, I just want to know, means if I want to automate based on the email trigger that you said, if any new email is coming in the inbox, at that time our bot should run. So can we do that using the Action Center?
Nikhilesh, you would like to answer or you want me to answer?
Yeah, you can answer.
Okay, great, excellent. Okay, well, the purpose of an action center is if I have performed some job and then I need to take an action on top of it. What you are asking for it is if I can monitor a mailbox and see if there is a new email. Am I understanding correct, Salesh?
Yeah, but I don't want to monitor. For monitoring, I need to schedule the bot, and after every 1 minute or 5 minutes, it will monitor. That I don't want. I want whenever a new mail is coming in the inbox, at that time, automatically it should trigger the process which I have deployed on the orchestrator.
The answer is no. You need to go through with the unattended bot and let this monitor your mailbox,
Okay.
because Action Center is not a bot. Action Center is only a platform where you can take a decision.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
somebody has to identify what is the event, and that only possible bot can do that job. Once I get an email and I'm confused because it has subject which is mentioned as invoice, but when I open a document, I found it's a purchase order, and I'm confused, and I need a human to look it into this and take a decision. Because what I found is subject says invoice, document says purchase order, bot can't take a decision. What should I do? Should I save it in the purchase or should I save it in the invoice folder? And that's where he create an event which goes to Action Center, and the user look at this document and the email and then take a call. Oh, this is actually invoice, but wrongly printed purchase order. So what is the next action which is defined in the process is, if it's a wrong document, the bot has to send a reply back to the same sender saying it, we found you have attached a wrong document. Please resend with the correct document. That is the job of Action Center.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Thank Thank you, Salesh.
No.
Guys, any other questions you can ask?
Well, if you're not going to ask questions, I'm going to feel a little surprised whether I was relevant for the content or not. Thanks, Mehul.
Hey, hi, Udit and all. I just wanted to, you can say, share because I've been through a lot of material as of now and talking to a couple of friends as well about the hyper automation, RPA or AI related. So there is the commercial side is finance or retail or warehouse, everything. But there is one more industry which are more growing about the hyper automation in the US and UK especially. That
Yeah.
is public sector.
Yes.
And most of the government offices, town offices, they have found they have established their separate COE or separate digital transformation units,
Correct.
departments to automate their processes like council tax,
Correct.
tax automation.
Yes. Tax invoice, tax notice. Correct. You are correct.
Yeah, as well as the IVR. Basically, recently I have experienced the UK government. They set up or they implemented probably the hyper automation, or you can say RPA, because earlier when I came here, the process was different. But now the employment support allowances and um, chatbots they implemented using the RPA. That's what I know it.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely, you are
yeah,
correct. So that comes under the bucket RPA plus AI. And that's
yes,
what people are actually going ahead and that's the reason I said hyper automation is just not a product. Hyper automation is a blend of technology. It's a concept where you have to bring all of these things, which is from discovery to measure to manage to this one bucket, and then you can call it as a hyper automation. It's just not only about a RPA or a new name to a RPA. And,
yes.
and give you one example, there's a one very good video available on a YouTube, which I personally loved it.
Mm-hmm.
This is for a Dubai government. And they say whosoever walked into Dubai police station is a customer. And we want to give them a humanless 100% same experience like they are getting connected to the human. So Dubai police has gone ahead, adopted RPA plus so many other technology to make it police station without a police officer, but addressing every customer who walk in. That's the way where I call it out, which is a series or somewhere where hyper automation really makes sense. Everyone who is walking in a customer in a police station, they call it they are my customer. And if they're not happy, we are not doing a good job. And that's where we thought about it, that we should have 100% experience for them is a humanless experience, but they should get whatever the service they are looking for. Thank you, Vipin. It's good to read. You like the session.
Okay, so today we spoke about hyper automation. So is there any use case which we can means create using these all tools so that it becomes hyper automation? Means any use case in your mind, or you can just highlight?
Well, Salesh, it's not about one use case which call that you have done hyper automation, because even if you do one automation with the RPA, or you do a one automation with the RPA plus chatbot or with the RPA plus any machine learning, they all come under the bucket of hyper automation today.
Okay.
So there's nothing called as you have done something and then you can claim it that, hey, we have done hyper automation in our organization. But what you can say it, we understand the hyper automation concept and we have adopted it. And there are some of the projects which we have worked where we have leveraged all these technology. But when you want to call it out that are we doing hyper automation in our organization, that start from discovery. So if you are doing that discovery in all the reference which I have given, a scientific way from the logs, you are inviting humans to give an idea and capture that idea and then make it a journey. You are taking the screenshots, making a PDD from there. These are all part of a discovery. So if you're doing discovery in these areas and then you are managing it, building it, running it, you're doing whole journey, then you call it that you have adopted hyper automation in your organizations. But as on today, we see that organizations are taking steps towards that. Maybe in a near future, they will come and say that, hey, yes, we have this complete life cycle and we have the hyper automation model deployed, but it's not about one process or a one use case or a one scenario. That's my perspective. That's what I feel.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I understand.
Well, when I'm talking about AI, I am considering cognitive services, whether it's from Microsoft, whether it's from AWS, whether it's from Google, they are part of it. And when I'm talking about a cognitive services, one of our cognitive services we talk about is a computer vision under the AI fabric, which read the screen, which convert the image and then give you the output. There are other cognitive services, which is something as speech to text, identify the language, convert the document from this language to that language, translations. So these are all part of a cognitive services. Either you can go ahead and use it, which comes with UiPath, or you can bring it from Azure, Google, other technology partners such as Data Robot, H2O, and so many of them. And you can bring it from their platform to us and then work with that. Hope this answer, Vipin.
Yes, yes, Udit, it is perfect.
Yeah.
So adding to Udit answer, so see basically whatever Udit explained is under hyperautomation only. You already might be using that, but many of them didn't use the term. Might be it is a new term hyperautomation, but all these things. For example, if he's saying as a requirement gathering phase, now we started using the task capture, so which comes under hyperautomation only, right? So like that, every AI fabric document understanding, all these comes and which the even community people already using it, new features and new things. But the term, the hyper automation, the silage question is for your question adding to this. So which already using, but we are not using the hyper automation is this or different something we are daily using. So it is same which you are using. The term is different. That's it.
Yeah. It's an umbrella, and under umbrella, you may be using 4, 5 out of 10. So you may keep growing these numbers and consuming more and more. Like in today's scenario, you may be only doing with the RPA. Tomorrow you add AI, you check box on one of another key component, which should be there with the hyper automation. So think from that broad perspective that it's an approach where you have to have these all areas covered. If you are doing all these, you are in the journey of a hyper automation, and you can phrase it in the company that we are focused on adopting hyper automation in our organization in each project we are doing. Okay, good to move ahead. Any further questions?
Any questions, guys? You can ask.
Well, now you can ask questions which are outside the context of a today's presentation also. If you have questions related something with the orchestrator, any feature capability, any feature you are trying and facing some issue, you may want to bring some point that how we can improve, what you like, dislike. We welcome all that. We are absolutely unconscious bias on this area where we don't want people to feel offensive about it. If you feel something which we have not done great, not met your expectation, feel free to talk. We will try to improve in our next versions.
Yeah.
Or if someone wants to share their own experience.